Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for this Gita Made Easy course. So today we will be discussing from chapter 9, the most important chapter in Bhagavad-gita, entitled The Most Confidential Knowledge, or in Sanskrit it is called as Raja Vidya, the king of all knowledge. It's a very, very important chapter. It's in the middle of Bhagavad-gita. So let us get into this interesting chapter. First, we would like to offer the prayers to the spiritual master, Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. This course, whatever we are discussing, it's from Bhagavad-gita as it is, written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So you can always refer to the book for more informations. So first we will chant the prayers to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord so that we may be able to understand His teachings and give the strength for us to apply those teachings in our day-to-day life. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapata Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Mugam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Lange Degri Nitrupata Mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shradvaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So chapter 9 Bhagavad-gita. So this will be in the beginning, in the middle of the Bhagavad-gita, exactly 18 chapters in Bhagavad-gita. So this we can say exactly at the center. That means the most important, like as we said in the jewel box example, when you keep a jewel in the jewel box, there is an upper cover and there is a bottom cover. And the valuable jewel is placed inside the box. Similarly, Krishna is giving an outer cover called Karma Yoga, the bottom cover called Jnana Yoga. Within that, he is placing the most precious jewel called Bhakti Yoga. In that Bhakti Yoga, the 9th chapter is exactly discussing about the glories of devotional service. So how does this chapter 8 and 9 relate to? Chapter 8, we discussed about attaining the Supreme, how we can go back to home, back to Godhead. That means how we can go back to spiritual world. Krishna says, Anta Kalecha Maameva Smaran Mukta Kalevaram. Whatever we think at the time of death, that nature we will attain. So if you are able to remember God at the time of our death, then definitely we will go back to the spiritual world, which is called our original home. So there were many questions asked by Arjuna in the beginning of 8th chapter. You know that what is Brahman, what is Adi Yajna, Adi Purusha, like that. So after answering all the questions, Arjuna's 8 questions in the chapter 8, Krishna again returned back to the theme in chapter 7. That means he is going to elaborate what he has spoke in the chapter 7. If you see in the beginning also, same thing happened. Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. So the more elaborate detail is given of Karma Yoga is explained in chapter 5. So same theme is more elaborately explained in chapter 5 regarding Karma Yoga. Same way here, chapter 7 starts with Bhakti Yoga. And chapter 9, he is going to give more details about the Bhakti Yoga, the glories, the importance of Bhakti Yoga. And people who are taking Bhakti Yoga, what are going to be their advantages over other systems? And that whole Bhakti Yoga is beginning with the first opening verse telling of importance of hearing. As we said earlier, Shrinvatam means Shravanam Kirtanam. So when you start hearing about the Lord, then our Bhakti process starts. Like you are all here hearing about Bhagavad-gita, that means Bhakti starts by hearing the spiritual instructions. So hearing is more important. The moment we do not hear, we do not get knowledge. The moment we start hearing, we get knowledge. So even if you see material knowledge, we got from our childhood by hearing, A for apple. So somebody spoke and we hear, then we see the apple. So like that, spiritual knowledge also is cultivated by hearing. So Krishna is beginning this chapter by telling the importance of hearing. So by hearing, repeatedly hearing, we get develop in our spiritual knowledge and realizations. And if you see again the synopsis of chapter 9, with just an overview before going to the chapter. In chapter 8, Krishna explained about unalloyed devotion. He says that people who pass in the daytime, they will not come back, spiritual practitioners. And people who pass at the night time, they will come back. But however, Krishna is saying, but for my devotee, he passes in daytime or nighttime, it's not a problem. Because he says, I will take care of him. So that unalloyed devotee, he's not subjected to any conditions like when he is leaving his body, night time or daytime. Okay. So in that, he's giving a hint of the supremacy of bhakti. So chapter 8 concludes that bhakti is the best form of yoga. And chapter 9, what we are going to see today is actually supplying the specific knowledge required to perform the most confidential yoga. As I said earlier, chapter 7 and chapter 9 are identical, but chapter 9 will give little more details and glories of the devotional service. And you can see this chapter title is very interesting chapter. The most confidential knowledge, that means Raja Vidya. So Raja Vidya means it's like king of knowledge. Okay. So why Krishna is saying this king of knowledge, we will see in the coming slides, we will see why he's saying as king of knowledge. And the most confidential means the most secret knowledge. So one may think that, if you pay 250 rupees, you get a Bhagavad-gita and you read it in English or in whatever local language like Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, like that. So if I am able to buy a Bhagavad-gita and read it by myself, why Krishna is telling this as a confidential means secret? It's a secret knowledge. Why does he say this is a secret knowledge? Because Krishna is saying this as a secret knowledge because the reason is unless you have devotion or bhakti, this knowledge is password protected. That means you cannot understand what Krishna is speaking. You can only understand when you become a devotee or when you take up the path of devotional service. Even though you may be well versed in Sanskrit, you may be well versed in your local language, still this knowledge will be not very clear. That's why when Srila Prabhupada explained this Bhagavad-gita as a pure devotee, we are able to understand. So who can get access to this knowledge is only when we are performing bhakti or devotion to the Lord. Otherwise, this knowledge will be always mysterious. 5,000 years, there are many people who are going in depth in Bhagavad-gita, but they are not still able to understand. They are giving different interpretations, which is not right. When you take the path of bhakti, then you can understand as it is. What Krishna spoke, as it is, we can understand. That's the reason why this chapter is entitled as the most confidential knowledge, because it is going to give the access by practicing through bhakti yoga. So for that, in this chapter, if you see, Krishna says, the beginning itself, Shrinvatam, and you have to hearing about Krishna, and what are the qualifications and disqualifications to hear about Bhagavad-gita also. There are qualifications if you want to understand Bhagavad-gita, and there are certain disqualifications also. Not everybody can understand this science. This is called as Raja Vidya. Not everybody can understand. So Krishna is telling what are the qualifications, disqualifications. And Krishna is also telling about his how he is related to this material world. That is Aishwarya Jnana, means his affluences. How he is related to this world. At the same time, he is not present everywhere in this world. So that also we are going to see today. And of course, not everybody worships Krishna. We know that. There are people who are worshipping Krishna, and there are people who do not worship Krishna also. So that category is explained as non-worshippers in worship, and how the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the supreme object of worship, and the glories of directly worshipping Krishna. And if you want to understand all this discussion, let us see, we always see in the format of acronyms. So we will see today what is the acronym. Okay, the acronym for chapter 9 is actually King. You should remember this phrase called King. So K stands for knowledge. So Krishna is going to impart the highest spiritual knowledge in this chapter. So K stands for spiritual knowledge. I stands for inconceivable relationship, means how Krishna is related to this material creation, which we cannot conceive by our material intelligence. Because we say God is great. God is great means what? We cannot just understand him by reading something or, he is having relationship with this world because he is the creator. At the same time, he is outside of this creation also. How is that? That his relationship is not easily understood by our material intelligence. That's called inconceivable relationships. And N stands for non-worship. That means even understanding so much, there are people who do not go to God. They do not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that kind of category we are going to see as a third category, non-worship. And G stands for glories of bhakti. As I said, Krishna is going to tell, if you take up the path of bhakti, what are the benefits you are going to get? Krishna is actually giving an inspiration, or we can say an advertisement, that if you take up devotional service, what are the greater benefits you will achieve in the human form of life? So this is the most confidential knowledge. I'll just read the write-up. Just as a pearl is hidden within a shell, if you see a pearl, it is always within a shell. Shell has a top cover, bottom cover. In between is a valuable pearl. Or as a king travels surrounded by an entourage. Whenever a king comes, he does not come alone. There are ministers in the front, soldiers in the front, soldiers in the back, and among the ministers and soldiers in between, king will come. Even if you say a prime minister is coming, chief minister is coming, there are 5-10 cars in the front of the minister, prime minister, 5-10 behind, and the center, the prime minister is coming. So that is way, they don't come alone. When they come with so many people. So the essence of Bhagavad-gita is hidden in the middle of the conversation. That means same way you see there are 6 or 7, 8 chapters you have seen in the front, and then we are going to see some more chapters after this. So in between this is the precious knowledge, like a shell, like a pearl is hidden inside the shell. So in the 9th chapter, Krishna outlines the king of all knowledge. Like we see the material knowledge, we say doctor, engineer, scientist, like that. So here, this knowledge is considered as the Raja Vidya. King of all knowledge means even above the material knowledge, even above the spiritual knowledge, this is the topmost knowledge what we are going to get in this chapter. King of all knowledge. And also, not only king of all knowledge, there is a second characteristic. It is most secret of all secrets. So, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. So, Raja Vidya means king of all knowledge. Raja Guhyam means we are actually most secret of all secrets. So, really, we should be considering ourselves as very, very fortunate, because Krishna is going to open the access to this great, glorious knowledge about himself. He explains the essence of Bhagavad-gita also in this chapter. The perfection of spiritual practice. On the spiritual practice, what is your topmost perfection? That is also explained in this. And what is the ultimate goal of our human form of life? So we should consider this as a very, very important chapter, the essence of all chapters, where most important instructions are revealed by Lord Krishna. So as we know, this chapter is also a short chapter, which is having around 34 verses. As we saw already, the acronym called King of King, knowledge. Krishna is talking about knowledge in the first 3 verses. First 3 verses, Krishna is talking about the knowledge and who can get this knowledge qualification and who is not qualified to receive this knowledge. So that is there, the first 3 verses. And the inconceivable relation which Krishna is having with this material creation. That is explained from verse number 4 to 10. And people who normally do not worship Krishna, the non-worshippers, that is explained from verse number 11 to 25. And of course, the last section of this, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, is explaining about the glories of bhakti. When you take up bhakti, what are the benefits you are going to achieve and how Krishna protects his devotees. All those things Krishna is giving in an elaborate way from verse number 26 to 34. So very important. So first section we are coming in the king. First is K. K stands for knowledge. The knowledge that he is about to implement is most confidential. Okay, so when we get knowledge, we should also have qualification, right? So when we want to go to IIT and we want to get the topmost knowledge of any subject like engineering, they keep a lot of tests for us. There is a big entrance exam, JEE. You should qualify. So similarly, when you want to get the topmost spiritual knowledge, also there is qualification required. If you go and give this knowledge to everybody, people may not understand or people will not appreciate it. So that means before going into this, we are also going to receive this. Let us make a check for ourselves. Are we qualified? So what are the prerequisites? Krishna is going to say, what are the prerequisites to receive this topmost confidential knowledge? So that is here, hearing confidential knowledge. So degrees of confidential knowledge. So what is this confidential knowledge? There are three categories of confidentiality. That means when you say secret, more secret, most secret. So what is that? When the general category of secret is, we should know that we are body and the soul. Our actual identity is, we are spirit soul, but we are engaged in the body. Okay, we are the permanent soul. Eternal soul is within a temporary body. That is a secret which Krishna is talking in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gita. He's saying that you are not dehinosmi nita dehi kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatrana muhyati. Krishna is saying that you are not this temporary body, but eternal spiritual soul. So that is confidential knowledge. First degree of confidence, first level. Higher than that, second category of more confidential. That means still more confidential is, you should know about the importance of devotional service. So the soul, what is the soul relationship with God or Krishna? The soul is there. Second question comes, from where did the soul come? Soul is eternal, but what is the origin of the soul? The origin of the soul is actually from Krishna. So we are part of Krishna, so we have a sambandha with Krishna. Like as a child, we have a relationship with our father. So like that, the soul has a relationship with Krishna. That is more confidential knowledge. And the most confidential, the topmost confidential knowledge is, once you know that I am soul, I am part and parcel of God, Krishna, I have an eternal relationship with him. So what should I do? The most confidential, the highest confidential knowledge is, I execute bhakti or devotional service to Krishna, and Krishna reciprocates with me. I reciprocate with Krishna. So there is a sambandha, there is a prayojana, we can say. Prayojana means the result of this is we have a mutual loving relationship with God. Okay, the soul and the Bhagavan has a mutual relationship. What is the medium of relationship is devotional service. The devotional service connects the soul with the Bhagavan, and there is a loving reciprocation with God. So in this life, the only need we will get utmost satisfaction is only when we are loved and being loved. We are all hankering for love, right? So this love we will get only when we are connecting with the Supreme Lord. Material world, we will have some kind of love exchanges, but it is temporary nature, and sometimes we meet with failure or dissatisfaction or frustration. But love with God is always eternal, more satisfying and more joyful. So now we understood that confidentiality, there are three stages: Guhya, Guhyatama, Guhyatara, Guhyatama. Confidential, more confidential, most confidential. Now, having known these levels of confidentiality, Krishna is giving the qualification. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can understand Bhagavad-gita. It is not possible. So you should have certain qualifications to understand this knowledge. What are the qualifications? You should be Anusuyava. Anusuyava means non-envious. And you should have Shraddha. Because we are saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We cannot do any research on this, right? It is coming from scripture. The scripture says that we are always searching for God, right? We are searching for God. Any religion, whether it's Christian or Islam, Muslim or Hindu, they are always searching who is God. Okay, they believe there is a God, but who is God? Here, Krishna is telling everything is coming from me. There is no truth superior to me. I am the means from me you have come. Everything is there. So Shraddha we need to accept that Krishna is saying that everything is coming from me. In the 10th chapter also he will say that. There is Chatusloki Bhagavad-gita where Krishna will say that how everything is originated from him. So Shraddha, faith is very important in spiritual life. Faith not only in spiritual life, in material life also we need faith. Suppose we are going to a hotel, we are taking food. We have faith in the cook that he will not put, clean, cook in a very unclean way. I will get this. No, we are having faith that he has done proper in a clean way. So we take the food. So Shraddha, when we are traveling, sitting in a bus or plane, we have faith that we will land in our destination. The pilot or the driver will take me to the destination. So as we have faith in the material life, in spiritual life also we should have faith. Without faith, there is no progress in spiritual life. So faith is considered to be the foundation of spiritual life. So without this foundation, you cannot develop. Not only faith, after faith, you should be non-envious. Anusuyava. Anusuya means you should not become envious. So in English, there are two terms called jealousy and enviousness. What is jealousy means? If somebody is having what you are hankering for, or somebody is enjoying more better than you, what do? You feel a little bit jealous. Oh, see, he is enjoying life with us. I'm not able to enjoy like this. So you feel jealous. So jealousy is passive nature. Passive nature means you are brood, means just inside your mind you are thinking, oh, he is enjoying, he is having a nice time, but see, I am suffering here. Or that is called jealous. But what is envy? Envy is little more higher than jealousy. It is more active in nature. Active in nature means you do something that you try to disturb him. Like somebody is enjoying watching a movie, which he's having a nice gadget. You take and break it, or you steal it, or you do something, some activity you are doing to disturb them. So that is enviousness. So when we are not, when God is so much in affluence, so much is enjoying, when we feel that why this person only should enjoy, I will also enjoy like him. That is kind of envious nature. Envious nature means if you see atheists, they are always arguing. What they are arguing? They say, why you are building temples? Why you are doing this puja? Why you are pouring milk on God? You are wasting money. So they are not happy when you decorate God, when you make a big temple. They always, argue that you are wasting money because they don't want to see that God is worshipped everywhere. They are very happy if all the temples are broken and demolished. They are the most happiest person. That is called envy. But if they are so much concerned about that we are spending money, they should also be concerned that if we are building a 5-star hotel, the same people should say, why are you wasting money in making a 5-star hotel, big buffet lunches, because we are wasting food, we are wasting money, there is big stadiums, party, club. But those atheists, they will not condemn when you are spending money for those entertainment purposes, because they know that if I go to a club or movie or hotel, I can enjoy. So they don't condemn when you spend millions of money in building a beautiful hotel or beautiful resort. They don't object. But when you spend some money for worshipping God, they are against it. That means enviousness. They don't want to see that we are spending money for God. So we should understand when we are building a hotel, stadium, or cinema theater, we are spending money. That is for our enjoyment. When we say enjoyment is very important, when you build a temple for worshipping God, that is for enlightenment. So enlightenment is more important than enjoyment. Because through enlightenment, you get jnana, you get knowledge. When you get knowledge, you become more peaceful, you become more happy. Because our ultimate purpose in life is to become happy. So without getting enlightenment, how do you become happy? So it is very important, as these atheists or people who are objecting to building temple because they are so much into enjoyment, we should tell them that as much as enjoyment is important, enlightenment is also more important in life. Because when we get enlightenment, our life becomes very peaceful and happy. So people who are envious in nature, they will not accept Bhagavad-gita, they will not understand Bhagavad-gita, and they cannot take the path of devotional service. All the three things you should understand. The people who are envious in nature, they cannot understand Bhagavad-gita, they cannot accept God in their life, they cannot take up the path of devotional service. Because devotional service means whatever we are doing, what we are doing now in this class, we are glorifying God. And if you are envious of God, how can you sit and hear when somebody is glorifying? Like you don't like your friend, not friend, you don't like some person, because friend we normally like. So you don't like some person, but another person is coming and keep on glorifying him. You will tell, no, stop. I don't want to hear about that person. I will leave now, or you change your topic. This is nature, human nature. So similarly, if you are against God, you are envious of God, you will not be able to hear the glories of God. So that's why Krishna is saying, if you want to know this knowledge, you should be non-envious. You should know that everything comes from me. You should be able to understand and appreciate it. And you should have faith that this world did not come by chemical combination. It has come by a creator called God. So we should understand the qualification Krishna says. If you want to understand this Confidential knowledge, Raja Guhyam, Raja Vidya. You should have two qualities, non-enviousness and faith. I hope you are able to follow that. That's why I've given some examples, because this is the basic, you can say. So the most confidential knowledge, the qualification is Anusuya, free from envy, and you should also hear properly, proper hearing. And what are the benefits of hearing this knowledge? You will get relief from all your miseries of material existence. So this is called as, we will be relieved from all these problems which you are facing in our material lives. So that is the benefit we are hearing this, understanding this Raja Vidya, the king of education. So Lord Krishna is going to impart the most confidential knowledge and relationship to Arjuna in this chapter. So what are the characteristics of this knowledge? This knowledge, what are these characteristics? It is called as, in 9.2 Krishna is saying, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyavakshagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. This Raja Vidya, what are the characteristics? Raja Vidya is king of all knowledge. Above material knowledge, above spiritual knowledge, it's ultimate knowledge. And Raja Guhyam, it is most confidential and secret of all secrets. It's a secret. It's not open to everybody. Pavitra means it's very pure. This knowledge is very pure. It can purify us. By hearing Bhagavad-gita, we can get purified because this knowledge itself is pure. And Uttamam. Uttamam means it is transcendental. It is above our senses. We cannot understand by our mundane senses this knowledge. Uttamam, it is transcendental. Pratyavakshagamam Dharmyam. It is perfection of religion. We are all talking about so many religions. When a religion is getting perfection, that is this king of Raja Vidya. Perfection of religion. And we may think that spiritual life is boring. No. If you practice proper spiritual knowledge, it is susukam. It is very, very joyful. Your life becomes more happy. It is not very morose. People think, oh, if I take spiritual life, I cannot enjoy my life. No. If you are taking the spiritual life with proper knowledge of this Raja Vidya, it is susukam. It is very, very joyful process. You see, Prahlad Maharaj here, at the age of 5 years, he is chanting Lord's name and dancing in ecstasy. His friends are so amazed to see him, so much happiness. Susukam. Kartum Avyayam. Avyayam means it is everlasting. It is not a temporary knowledge. It is a permanent knowledge which is carried forward for birth after birth. Okay, so now Arjuna is having a question. You know how many characteristics are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 characteristics are there for this Raja Vidya. It is so much pure, it is joyful, it is everlasting, it is king of all knowledge. Then Arjuna is thinking, if there is so glorious this Raja Vidya, why don't these people accepting this joyful process? Because people are hankering for happiness. So, and you are saying susukam, it is very joyful. Then why somebody will reject something which is very joyful? That is Krishna's, Arjuna's question. Now, Krishna is explaining the whole thing now. How in this jivas in the material world, how is his relationship? Why people are not accepting this knowledge? All these things will be explained in this coming verses. So, inconceivable relationship, verses 4 to 10. So, as a child is conceived within the womb, before implementing something, there is some idea within our mind. That idea is implemented as a result. So before conceiving anything, always there is some idea. But for related to God, actually, God's characteristics are unlimited, infinite. So they cannot be contained within our mind. That idea, how we cannot imagine God. That's why some religion, they say God has no form. Because they say that God cannot be conceived within our fertile brains. Because he is limitless, he is infinite. His glories are limited. His characteristics are, his glories are unlimited. His characteristics are unlimited. So thus, God's activities and relationships are, you cannot understand by your limited mind and intelligence. We should understand, very important. So it is not very easily possible. Like there is a story, they say, that one person, he was traveling. So he was traveling to another village. In olden days, he was traveling the bullock cart. And on the way, he's seeing a pumpkin plant, it is on the ground and he's seeing a huge pumpkin. And he's saying, God, he does not have proper brain. Such a thin leaf and thin stem, but this much big pumpkin is there. And he's seeing a banyan tree nearby. And he thinks, see, such a huge banyan tree, the fruit is very small. Maybe God, he's not intelligent like us, Big tree, there should be big fruit. Small tree, there should be small fruit. That was his idea. Then it was very hot. So he went and he wanted to take some rest. So he went and sat below the banyan tree. And after some time, he fell asleep because of the tiredness. After some time, there was wind blowing and this banyan fruit, it fell down and hit on his head. And suddenly he woke up and he saw that fruit, small fruit, it has hit. Then he understood that God is really intelligent. We are only not intelligent. Because imagine if God has, for the big tree, if he has put a big pumpkin, what will happen? His head will be smashed. So he understood. So understanding God is not an easy thing. We should always remember, because his glories, his characteristics are all unlimited. We cannot conceive him within our mind, within our intelligence, that God is like that. So in this section, Krishna will begin explaining his inconceivable relation. Inconceivable means that we cannot conceive within our mind or intelligence. So how is his relationship with this universe and all living entities, with the Jivatmas as well as his universe, how Krishna is directly and indirectly related. So while this knowledge gives an indication of character, greatness and capacity of God, it also exposes our inability to understand. When we understand the greatness of the Lord, then we also understand our inability to understand his glories through our mundane logic and reason. So we should understand God cannot be understood through our mundane reason, mundane logic or mind. So Krishna is saying this very important verse, 9.10. What is this verse? Maya dakshena prakriti suyate cha saracharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Very important verse. This material nature, what we are seeing, this jagat or material nature, Krishna is telling, it is one of my energies, which is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings under its rule. This manifestation is again created and annihilated again and again. That means Srishti is there, creation is there, then Pralaya is there. It is dissolved after some time. Again, it is created after some time. Again, it is dissolved. So Krishna is saying, Maya dakshena prakriti. Prakriti means material nature. Maya dakshena means under my supervision, this prakriti is functioning. Suyatecha characharam. Hetunane, this whole world is created and pralaya is annihilated by my will. Like there is an example, we can say that if a child is walking into a shopping mall, it is saying that the door is automatically opening. The child is thinking how this door is automatically opening, because the child does not have any knowledge about that. There is a sensor in this, the door. The sensor is detecting an object, automatically it is opening. But the child does not have the knowledge. It is seeing in amazement how this door is opening when I am coming. Maybe there is a ghost behind this or something magic. No, but there is no magic. It is a science that there is a camera, sensor, and accordingly the door is opening. So person with knowledge knows that there is a camera behind. There is a sensor behind. The sensor is operating the door to open. Similarly, we are seeing this material nature. The rain is coming, the grains are coming, the fruits are coming, the vegetable is coming, cow is producing milk, the seasons are changing, the air is there for us for breathing, there is heat, there is light, there is water. So many things are there in this material world. If you list out, you can write a big book. So much things are being supplied. A person who does not have knowledge about God, he thinks that all these things are happening automatically. Like the scientists say, these are all, sometimes atheist scientists, they say that these things are automatically coming. Nature is producing automatically. How nature will produce automatically? Even if you want to supply food for our family, we are planning budget. This month I have to buy 5 kgs of these pulses for 10 liters of milk. So we are calculating for our own family. This material world, so many living entities are there. Who is planning? If you say there is nobody to plan, that is our foolishness. We are planning for our family. Now in the forest, there are millions of elephants. Who is feeding that elephants? There are millions of ants. We are not putting budget for those things. Who is supplying food for those? It is said that if you are maintaining an elephant in any temple, at least 5 to 10 lakhs you need money for maintaining one elephant for 1 year food. So there are millions of elephants in the African jungle or in the forest. Who is giving food? Who is providing food? So an ignorant person who does not have knowledge of God, he thinks that these things are done automatically. No, automatically, nothing comes automatically here. There is an arrangement. So that's what Krishna is saying. I am the supreme director. Here, Bhagavad-gita says everything. We are searching for God. We want to know how this creation is happening. All those things are explained very beautifully in Bhagavad-gita. Who is the reason for creation? And we need to have faith, and we need to get the knowledge through this Bhagavad-gita. So this is this very beautiful verse where Krishna is saying, this material nature, Krishna is overseeing as a supervisor or superintendent. Maya dakshena prakriti. This material nature, what we are seeing around us, is one of my energy. Krishna is having so many energies. But one of the energies, material energy, is working under my direction according to Krishna's will. If Krishna says, let there be famine here, there will be no cultivation possible. Krishna said, let there be abundance of vegetables and fruits. The trees will produce enormous fruits and vegetables. So it is working under Krishna's direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings under this rule manifestations, created, annihilated again. So this is Krishna's relationship with material creation, inconceivable relationship. So Arjuna is again thinking, why some people despise you or don't respect you as Supreme Personality of Godhead? So here, the 9th chapter very clearly Krishna explains that he is the supreme origin of everything in this material world. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, means above him there is nothing. In 7th chapter also Krishna said, Matta Parataram Nane Kinchidasti Dhananjaya. There is no truth superior to me. Above Krishna there is nothing. He is the origin of everything, but he has no origin. So, in spite of so many things, why still some people don't accept you as Supreme Personality of God? Then we come to the third category called non-worship. Even we get this knowledge, these things, still people do not accept. Why? That is coming as non-worship. Krishna is explaining from verse number 11 to 25. Even after Krishna explains affluences and qualities. So if you go in this 9th chapter, Krishna is telling that I am pervaded in the entire material creation. Jagat Avyakta Murtina. But still I am not in them. So like that, there are many verses here. We saw only one verse here. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suechita Saracharam. But if you go into that first, second section, inconceivable, there are at least couple of 5-6 verses where Krishna is saying that there is no place in this creation where I am not pervading. But still, I am not inside every one of them. That is how that inconceivable relationship is there. Krishna is inside everything and Krishna is outside everything also. How is inside as well as outside? That is inconceivable nature of the Lord. So even after Krishna explains the affluences and qualities of his personal form, there are many who misunderstand the Supreme. Because why this confusion coming? Krishna appeared in human-like form. When 5,000 years before, when he appeared in Vrindavan, many people are thinking Krishna is a king, Krishna is a human being. Because why? Because he came in 2 hands, 2 legs. So sometimes people mistake. When they come, like a big CEO, he is among with normal people, and the normal people do not know he is a CEO of a big company. They think that he is also one of them. It is easy to mistake. Like sometimes the president goes to the jail to give some lecture. So if he is going and nobody introduced that he is the president, the people in the jail may think he is like also one of us. No, he has come something for that's a mistake and come. And somebody will introduce, no, he is the president of India. He has come to deliver a speech to you that you should not do mistakes so that you can be released from the jail. Oh, then they understand, oh, he is not a normal person. He is the president of this country. He has come here as to visit us, to give us, to correct us. So like that, Krishna is coming from the spiritual world. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujam paritranaya sadhuna vinakshaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To establish dharma, to destroy adharma, and to protect the good people and to destroy the bad people, sambhavami yuge yuge. So when he's coming down, he is coming in this human-like form. People mistake him as a human being or devata or as a normal king, king of Dwaraka or king of Vrindavan, like that. So that is one of the reasons why this is mistaken. So Krishna appears in human-like form. Some deem him as an ordinary human being and believe as a personal form of God to be elementary and infallible. And others, sometimes people think God, as though God has many forms. So this is like one of the form we are like God can come in any form, like all that form of God, like demigods. There are 33 crores of demigods in our culture. They think all are the same God, no? Demigods. This is also God, Supreme God. This is also Supreme God. Like that, they have 33 crores Supreme God. So that is also one kind of misunderstanding. And somebody is thinking God like a universal form, Vishwarupa. They consider this cosmic universe as a Vishwarupa of the Lord. And some people also worship the Lord as a Supreme Personality to have a personal relationship with him. So Krishna is highlighting in what form you will worship, that destination you will achieve. If you worship demigods, you will go to demigods. If you worship me, you will come to me. So Krishna, worshipping Krishna is like more intimate relationship with God. Example, we can see, we are citizen of India. So we are seeing Prime Minister when he's coming to our place from distance, we are shaking our hand, right? We are shaking our hand, he's also shaking the hand from the vehicle. That is a kind of distant relationship we have with God. One. Second, if you are a minister, then you have a little more intimate relationship, little more close relationship with Prime Minister. You can have a one-to-one meeting with him, discuss about your state or something, ask him for the fund. So that is again higher, more closer relationship with God, with the Prime Minister, or you can say with the God. Third, the Prime Minister also has a family. Suppose the Prime Minister has his wife, children, grandchildren. The grandchildren are playing with the Prime Minister. They are telling you, become like a horse, I will ride on you, like that. And because his grandchildren is asking, the Prime Minister is doing like that. So the devotee is like grandchildren. He goes to God in a very, very close level. Very close level that he can play with God. He can talk with God. He can enjoy with God. That is called Bhakti Yoga. You can become more intimate. So as a citizen, we are a little far. As a minister, we are a little more close. But if you become as a family member of the Prime Minister, you become very close. So we are trying to become a family member of Krishna by Bhakti. So there is a very kind of highest level of intimate relationship where the devotee will have for the Supreme Lord. So here, non-worship, fools neglect Bhakti, the divine tone. 11 to 15. There are people who think that he's a Superman or a human being. Why should I worship him? They neglect Bhakti towards the Lord. But the divine people who are having divine nature, who are having godly qualities, they try to worship the Supreme Lord. And the B part is Krishna is the supreme object of worship, is explained in 16 to 25. So Krishna itself telling Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanum Ashrita. I think that verse will come in the next slide. Let us see that verse. See here. Fools deride me. Krishna uses the word fool only. Directly is telling. We can read the verse, we can understand where Krishna is telling fools here. Avajananti ma muda. Muda means fool. They do not know. Avajananti. Jananti means they do not know me. Ma means me. Who? Fools do not know me. Why do not know me? Manushim tanum ashitam. Because I have come in human being form. Manushim. Manushim means Manisharupa. Manushim tanum ashritam. I have taken the shelter in the form of human being. They do not know me. Who? Not intelligent people. Foolish people do not know me when I come in the human form. But my nature is superior. Param Bhavam. My nature is very higher nature. I am not like a human being. My nature is not human nature. Param Bhavam. Ajananto. They do not know my superior nature. Mama Bhuta Maheshwara. I am the Maheshwara of the entire creation. Mama Bhuta Maheshwara. So you can read the translation here. 9.11. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. See, very clear. See, Bhagavad-gita is talking very straightforward. Fools, they may mock at Krishna also, no? That fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature. Parambhavam ajananto. They do not know the Supreme Lord of all that. Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. So if you have faith, we can understand that Krishna, even though he came, he did a lot of superhuman activities. Like at the age of 7 years, he lifted a hill. Can any humans do? Can we lift a table? It's not easy. He lifted a hill in a left hand with little finger for 7 days. Because when we say God is great, what we can do only if he will do, why we will call him as God? God means wow, he can do what we can do and he can do what we cannot do. That is called God. Right? That's why we say God is great. He can do what we can do and he can do what we cannot do. We cannot lift a mountain. We cannot marry 16,108 wives. But Krishna, when he came, he did a lot of superhuman activities which no humans can do. So he did he lifted the Govardhan hill. He killed a lot of demons in the Vrindavan, and he married 16,108 wives. He had 16,108 palaces in Dwaraka, which is submerged now. So we should know that is not as normal activities. Krishna is doing particularly to show that even though I come in human form, you should understand by the superhuman activities, I am not one of you. I am Supreme Lord. I am the creator of this universe. So the law of gravity will not be applicable to me. It is applicable for you. But law of gravity is not applicable for me because I am the creator of this law. So Krishna can lift. It is like lifting a cotton for him. If he is lifting a mountain, it is for him just like lifting a cotton because there is no law of gravity will apply on him because he created law of gravity. That's why we say God is great. So here it's very important verse 9.11. Avajananti mamuda manusham tanum ashritam parambhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that to be. Very, very important verse. Now Arjuna is again thinking, what is the destination of such offenders? Okay, fools are deriding, fools are deriding God. They say, where is God? There is no God. Krishna is not God. He is only just a human being. So there are people who are offending Krishna also. There are people who are worshipping Krishna also. So then Arjuna is thinking, those people who are offending, what is their destination? 9.12, Krishna rejecting Krishna's form. Krishna is telling in 9.12, Mogasha, Moga Karmano, Moga Jnana Vichetataha, Rakshatim Asuram Chaiva, Prakriti Mohinam Shitaha. Those who are thus bewildered, that they are thinking that I am an ordinary person, are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. Atheists, they don't believe in God. Demonic, Asuram Bhavam. Okay, so Rakshasim Asuram Chaiva. What will happen to them? They don't accept God in their life. In that deluded condition, Krishna is telling not that I will put them in the hell. I will put them in the burning hell. No, Krishna is not like that. Krishna is telling that in that deluded condition, they are in the moha, mogasa. Moga means they are in the illusion. Moga means illusion. Mogasa, moga karmano. In that illusion, they are doing activities. Moga jnana, their jnana is also covered with illusion. And because of that, they are the illusion. They are in the shelter of rakshasim, asuram, chaiva. Their nature become asurim, rakshasam. So Prakriti Mohinam Sritaha means what will happen in the deluded condition? Mogasa, their hope for liberation. They cannot be liberated from this cycle of birth and death. Their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, what they are expecting result. They say man proposes, God disposes. Whatever they expect in their life will not easily happen. Their fruitive activities and their culture of knowledge, they are trying for getting knowledge. That knowledge, they will not get real knowledge. All are defeated. Krishna uses the word defeated. That means they will not be successful in their life. So we should understand, God is not that because if you don't believe him, he will put you in hell. No. Your attempt in life to become successful will be defeated because you have taken a wrong knowledge, a wrong philosophy, so that whatever you do will end in defeat, failure. That's what Krishna is telling, that it's all going to be fruitless for you. So Arjuna pondered, okay, we understood people who do not accept Krishna or God. Now Arjuna is thinking, who are those who respect you? See, there are two categories in this world from beginning of creation. There are theists and atheists. There are divine people and there are demonic people. There are people who are working hard for the well-being of society, and there are also terrorists who are destroying the society. So from the beginning of creation, there are two categories of people. So we already saw one category of people, Mogasa, Moga Karmano. So people who do not accept the Lord, their attempts are defeated. They end their life in failure. Now there are other categories of people who are respecting you. What will be their situation? Very beautiful verse, 9.13. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti mashitaha bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutalim avyayam. O son of Pritha, Arjuna, those who are not deluded, Mogasa, they are not deluded. The great soul, they are called Mahatmas, not Atma. Atma is we are Atma. When you take under the shelter of God or Krishna, we become Mahatma. Mahatma means greater souls. The great souls they are protected by God. They are under my divine nature. See, Mahatmanastu mam partha, Devim, divine Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. They are Devim Prakritim Ashritaha means shelter. They are under the shelter of my divine nature. Who are that? Mahatmanastu mam partha. And what they are doing once they are coming to me, they are fully engaged in devotional service. Bhajanti ananya manaso. They have start devotional service. Bhajanti ananya manaso without deviation. Jnatva bhutadim abhyayam. Because they know me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, original, and they know that I am the Supreme Lord. Here we can see Vibhishana in the picture. How even though he was the brother of Ravana, Ravana was opposing Lord Rama and he got killed. Mogasa, Moga Jnatva. He was defeated in all his attempts to enjoy Mother Sita. Right? But his brother, his own brother, even though he was in a demonic family, born in a demonic family, he took shelter of Lord Ram and he was protected. And the whole Lanka was given back to Vibhishana by Lord Ram. The Lord does not want anything to enjoy here. He will give everything. Like the whole battlefield, Arjuna taken credit. But background, God was doing everything. So when we surrender to God, whatever property he has, it is for us. Because as you see here, Lord Ram taken the kingdom from Ravana because he was demonic in nature. He just wanted to enjoy the kingdom without against God. So he taken the kingdom from him and he handed over the kingdom to Vishnu to rule in a very divine way. As same what he did, he taken the kingdom from Duryodhana and he handed over to Dharmaraj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, so that the citizens will be happy. So who are following Dharma, Lord likes very much. So this is what Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakritim Ashritaha. The verse is very clear. If we read like slowly, we can understand Mahatma. Atma means who are Mahatmas? To Mam Partha, they go to God, Krishna. And then immediately they are protected by divine nature. Devim Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. Devi means divine nature. They come under the shelter. Ashritaha means shelter. Once they take the shelter of divine nature, Bhajanti Ananya Manasu, they engage in devotional service without deviation, Ananya Manasu, without deviation of the mind. Because Jnatva, they know, Bhutadim Avyam, I am the Supreme Personality, Bhutadim Avyam, I am original and inexhaustible. So, we can a little bit understand from the verse itself directly. Now, Arjuna is thinking, okay, I understand Mahatmas are under your divine protection and they engage in your devotional service. And they are always, they know that you are the original Lord and inexhaustible. But how do I know what are the symptoms of that person? How do I know this person is Mahatma, this is Duratma? What are the symptoms? Because we should know by symptoms, we can understand somebody is cheating us in the name of bhakti. We see a real Mahatma, what is the test? So how do I know? That is 9 point. So Krishna is telling the Mahatmas, their activities, you can understand by their activities. What will be the activities of Mahatmas? Kirtaniya, always chanting the glories of the Lord. Dridhavartaha, with a fixed vow that I want to please the Lord and I want to go back to the spiritual world. Namasyanta, offering obeisances. Nitya Yukta, always engaging some service to the Lord. That is the activities 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam. 9.14. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavartaha. Namasyanta mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. So Krishna is giving the symptoms of people who are Mahatmas, who are under the protection shelter of divine energy. These are their activities. Kirtaniya, Dridhavartaha, Namasyanta, Nitya Yukta. Always engaged, always chanting the glories of the God. What are the other types of worshippers? So, if you see this previous is saying about direct worshippers of God, Supreme Lord, 9.14. But there are also people who are indirectly worshipping Krishna. So, there are one class of people called atheists. Then Krishna talked about believers who are worshipping Krishna directly, and Krishna is telling about indirect worshippers. They don't worship Krishna directly, but they worship Krishna indirectly. That is 3 categories are there in indirect worshippers. So Krishna is telling Ekatvena, they worship in oneness. They don't worship Krishna directly. They will worship as a Ekatvena. We will see that. What is that oneness? Prithakvena, diverse as many ways. So like people worship the demigods. So many Devi Devatas they worship. That is Prithakvena, diverse as many. Oneness means we think we are also part, same like God. Ekatvena, Prithakvena, Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. Some people worship God as a Vishwarupa, universal form, like Milky Way, galaxy, or they see God as a big, Vishwarupa. As Krishna is showing the Vishwarupa in chapter 11. So there are 3 kinds of indirect worshippers, which is explained from 16 to 25 in the chapter 9. Ekatvena, Prithakvena, Bahuda Vishwato Mukam. So we should know that there are going to get different results. People who are worshipping in the Ekatvena, they try to merge with God. They say, Kaivalya. They take like try to liberate and merge with Lord. Prithakvena, they go to the planets of demigods. That is also come. Bahuda Vishwato Mukam, they worship the universal form of God. Okay, now we understood from chapter 9, Krishna is that one God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then immediately we will think, okay, if Krishna, you are saying God, what about so many devatas we are worshipping? We are worshipping Lord Kartikeya, Ganesha, Lord Shiva, so many devatas, Agni, Indra, Vayu, Varuna. So many we are worshipping. So here we are introducing, the scripture says there are 4 tattvas, Vishnu tattva, Shakti tattva, Shambhu tattva, and Jiva tattva. So we go in this order, Vishnu tattva, Shambhu tattva, Shakti tattva, and Jiva tattva. So what is Vishnu tattva? The original Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually Vishnu Tattva. From him, everything is emanating. The creation, even other religions, they believe in only one God. Even if you see the Sanatana Dharma, it's very clear we believe in only one God. Okay. So that original form of the Lord, from where everything is beginning, creation, all these things, Jivatmas are coming. That is called the original expansion of original Lord is called as Vishnu Tattva. So it is said that in Narada Pancharatra, Vishnu Sutri Rupani Purushakya Ato Viduhu Ekam tu Mahata Shishta Divityam tu Anda Samsitam Trityam Sarva Bhutastam Tani Nyato Muchyate. What is that? The Lord for creation he is expanding into three forms. That is one is called as Mahavishnu, first Vishnu. So Krishna is expanding, three expansion Krishna himself doing. Mahavishnu, who is creating this material energy known as Mahatattva. And this is not from 9th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. This is just for your understanding. Okay. Second Vishnu, he is expanding as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. If you see some pictorial view only, you can understand. But still you can understand whatever from this. Later when you have time, you can see the pictorial representation also. So Garbhodaksha Vishnu is entering that universe and creating diversities. And Kshirodaksha Vishnu is as Paramatma within our heart. We say that there is a super soul. Krishna Paramatma we say. We don't say Krishna. We say Krishna Paramatma. So that is Kshirodaksha Vishnu. It is an expansion of Krishna. It is a super soul within Jivatma. So Krishna, as per the scripture, is expanding us Balaram. From Balaram, he is expanding us Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. VSPA. From the Sankarshna, Narayana comes. We know Lakshmi Narayana. From Narayana, again there is a second expansion called Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. From that Sankarshna expansion is Mahavishnu, which we saw is so many universes coming out from his breathing. You can see like bubbles. They are floating on the ocean. And from that Vishnu, again second Vishnu comes, Garbhodaksha Vishnu. He enters inside each bubble and he lies down. From his navel comes Brahma, the secondary creator of this universe. And from Garbhodaksha Vishnu comes the third Vishnu, which is this is Paramatma, which we discussed as sitting in the heart of every living entity. So the material world is there, created by this Brahma, and all the Jivatmas are created, means pushed into this creation. Second Tattva is Shakti Tattva, which is normally we say Radharani, Sita Devi as a consort of Lord Ram, Mahalakshmi as a consort of Narayana, Lakshmi Devi, and Durga as a consort of Lord Shiva. This is called Shakti Tattva. This is also one of the expansions of the Lord. And Shambhu Tattva means Lord Shiva is also an expansion of Lord. He is not a Devata. He is almost like Krishna, almost like Vishnu, but he is not the Supreme Lord, as well as he is not a Jivatma like us. He is in a very exalted position. He is not the Supreme Lord. At the same time, he is not like an ordinary soul. So the example given is, milk is like Lord Vishnu. When milk is transformed into curd, that is become Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is associated with the material energy through Durga Devi. So he becomes milk, transforms into curd is Lord Shiva. And Jiva Tattva, we are all Jiva Tattva. Our Jivatma. Demigods. All the 33 crores demigods are Jiva Tattva. Human beings, animals, birds, fishes, demons, all Devatas, all are Jiva Tattvas. Jiva Tattva is a different category. So the four Tattvas we are seeing. Vishnu Tattva, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shakti Tattva is expansion, is feminine forms like Durga Devi, Radha Rani, Durga, and we see Lakshmi Devi, like that. And Shambhu Tattva is Lord Shiva, is in a very higher category. And Jiva Tattva is, we are Jivatmas, where all the living entities like animals, birds, reptiles, human beings, Devata, demons all come in Jiva Tattva category. If Krishna is that one God, then who are the Devatas? Who are Devatas? So we know if in a company, there are so many people, right? Like there is a CEO, the topmost person in a company, then there is sales head, finance head, marketing head, purchase head, country head, marketing, R&D, support accounts. So there is one CEO, like they say there are one prime minister, there is only one prime minister in the country, but there are so many MPs. PM is one, MP is many. For irrigation minister, finance minister, like that. So PM is Lord Krishna, but MPs are demigods. So we can see in the administration structure of this universe, electricity minister, we are getting light by Surya, the sun god. And there is construction minister who created this material world, Lord Brahma, god of creation. And water minister, Varuna, the god of ocean. And so like that, there are so many gods, just for an example. So we are not actually trying to diminish the demigods as little gods. No, we are glorifying actually, because demigods are actually the servants of the Supreme Lord to administer this material world. Okay, they are part and parcel, but they are higher than us. They are not higher than us, but still they are Jivatmas. So what is the difference between Supreme Lord and demigods? So you see, Krishna is only one. But demigods are 330 million or 33 crores. Post Krishna is eternally the Supreme Lord. But demigods, they change. And they change their position during the annihilation, during the Manvantara, they change. Residence, Krishna is residing in the spiritual world, whereas demigods are within the material world where we are also living. Heavenly planets, they say they are residing in Swarga. Like Indra is called as the king of Swarga. And activity, when we go to Krishna, it is spiritual activities. We are trying to love and serve Krishna without any selfish motivation. But demigods, people normally do some puja to get some material benefits. And demigods have a function of administrative work for this cosmic universe. And Krishna's body is eternal, whereas demigods are having a temporary material body, same like us. So we have so many things, difference between worshipping Krishna and demigods. So that things also a little bit Krishna is giving elaboration, same like 7th chapter. We discussed the same points in 7th chapter also. As I said, 9th chapter is a more elaborate discussion on 7th chapter. Krishna gives us what we need, demigods give us what we want. Only Krishna can award liberation. That's why he's called as Mukunda. Mukunda means one who can award liberation. But demigods can give us some material benefits, but they cannot give us liberation from cycle of birth and death. So these all things we should understand. And differences, when we serve Krishna, when we go to Krishna, we go with the motive of love and service. But for demigods, we go for material desires. We want good education, transfer, promotion, good marriage, good health, like that. We pray. So if you want good health, they say pray Surya Dev. If you want good intelligence, education, you pray to Saraswati Devi, like that. So Krishna will grant what you need, and demigods are like they grant what you want. Whatever you desire, they grant based on your pujas. And blessings, Krishna's blessing is eternal. It does not die with your body. But whereas demigods, whatever they give, it is temporary because the body itself will be finished with that one day. So demigod worship, is it condemned in the scripture? Yes, Krishna is condemning that. It is temporary. So don't try to go for temporary things. Try to go for permanent. Like Krishna is encouraging. So we can see that. Is it practical to worship all the demigods? Now, there are 33 crores demigods. We cannot worship all of them. But if you are praying to Krishna, all the demigods are satisfied, because praying to Krishna is like pouring water to the root of the tree. Entire tree gets nourished. Can I approach Krishna with material desires? Even if you have material desires, the scriptures are saying, Akama karma sarva kama va moksha kama udarite tivrena bhakti yogena ejeta purusha param. Even if you have desire, if you have no desire, if you want liberation, still you can go to Krishna, because Krishna will purify me. Okay. So we are not insulting demigods, but we are respecting them because they are servant of Krishna. So definitely we have to respect them. So if we want only material benefits, only you want to have material benefits, you can go to demigod, no harm. But if you are looking for to liberate from the cycle of birth and death, then if you are serious in spiritual life, then you have to take the shelter of the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, with demigods, they cannot give us mukti or moksha. Okay, so now having said so much, we are coming to the last section. 5 more minutes, we'll finish. That is glories of devotional service. So this may be like a challenging type of philosophy, because we think that all gods are same. Krishna is saying, no, all gods are not same. Krishna is telling, Yanti Deva Vrita Devan, he's saying 9th chapter, Pritinyanti Pitrinata, Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja, Madhyajino Yanti Mamapi. Those who worship the demigods, they will go to the demigod planets, which is within the material world. But who is worshipping the Pitrus, they will go to the Pitriloka, ancestors. Who are worshipping the ghosts, they will go to the ghostly planets. But Madhyajino Yanti Mamapi. Fourth category, Krishna is saying, who is worshipping me will come and live with me in the spiritual world. And glories of devotional service, very, very important verse. Krishna is saying here, Bhagavad-gita 9.26, bhakti is very, very simple. What is it? Why it is very simple? Krishna is saying how simple it is. Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahartam asnami prayatatmanaha. Here one important thing we have to note. Krishna is using this word bhakti. Bhaktya, bhakti 2 times. That means if one offers me with love, that love is the important factor. God only cares for your love. God does not care whether you are beautiful. God does not care whether you are educated or illiterate. God does not care whether you are wealthy or poor. God does not care of your caste. God does not care for your country. God does not care for any of your material criteria. He only cares for one thing, whether whatever you are doing, whether you are doing with love. with the devotion. That's why bhakti is represented here 2 times. But if you is saying, Krishna is saying that even you may be a most poorest person in this world, just offer me with love, a glass of water or a flower which is available outside, or a leaf or a fruit, I will accept. Asnami prayata. And the best example is Sudama pastime, where Sudama brought some chipped rice from begging from nearby his friends, and he tied with a torn cloth, with a dirty cloth. But Krishna, as soon as he met Sudama, he grabbed that chipped rice and he put in his mouth, and he reciprocated with him. He made his life so exalted after that, by his blessings. So we know that God is only looking for our love. He is not looking for our need. It's not that we should worship God with so much big gold, diamond ornaments or something. No. Bhakti is the more. But of course, you can offer that. But if you offer that without bhakti, God will not accept it. And where is the proof? The proof is in this verse. Patram pushpam phalam. So bhakti is very simple. It's not difficult. If one offers me with love, bhakti and devotion, of love and devotion, 2 things are bhakti. A leaf, flower, fruit, and what. So nobody can say, I don't have money, I cannot worship God. Anybody in their home, they can offer fruit or flower or leaf with love. Then definitely God is accepting with love also. Arjuna pondered, what should one do if he is not able to perform pure devotion? But this is an exalted stage. Bhakti is so high level. Can everybody come to this level? So Krishna is telling that about the Nishkama Karma Yoga, is saying that just try to practice it. Do it for Krishna. Yet karosi, yet kanasi, yet josi, dadasi. After saying this 26 verse, 27 verse is this verse. Yet karosi, yet jnasi, yet josi, dadasi, yet tapasvasi kaunteya tat purushvama darpanam. So whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever charity you do, whatever austerity you perform, you just do this as an offering to me. Slowly try to give some, as a Sarvam Krishnarpanamasti. You do something and tell that verse, Sarvam Krishnarpanamasti. I am doing this for satisfaction of my Lord. Then it becomes Nishkama Karma Yoga. Like that, we can cultivate to that stage. So, if you do like that, gradually, if you start doing everything for the pleasure of the Lord, Nishkama Karma Yoga, then, you get freedom. You get freedom means slowly our mind gets purified. It gets liberated from all this unwanted anarthas. Comes by connecting our activities with Lord's service. Then Arjuna is asking, are you partial? Like you will only take care of your devotees? No, Krishna is saying, I envy no one. I am not against any person in this world. Nor I am partial to anyone. I am not like putting some vasta that I will do some favor for him. No. God is equal to everybody. That's why even people, if you don't worship God, if you are by your karma result, you got to become wealthy, you become wealthy. That's why you see atheists also sometimes they are very learned, they are very wealthy, because God is not going to punish them because he's not coming to them. They are reaping their karmic results. So he's not that he's envying or partial, oh, this person is not praying to me, so I will make his life miserable. He will not do like that. They get according to their karmic credit. I am equal to all. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. This is very important. God's position is equal to all. But whoever renders service to me in devotion is a friend. But somebody is coming close to me, I have to reciprocate to him. For that person, I am very much, whoever renders service to me, I am friend in me. Because he is trying to become my friend, I also become his friend. So this is a reciprocation. This is not partial, this is a reciprocation. Like you are a wealthy person, for Deepavali, you are going to orphanage and you are giving sweets, dress for all the orphanage children in the orphanage. Because, you have too much money, you are spending. But when you come home, your own children, they are showing so much love for you. For them, you are going to give some special dress. You are not going to give the same dress which you given in the orphanage. For your child, even though you given food, everything to them, but for your own child, you will give little more attention and care. That is what Krishna is mentioning here. Whoever is coming to me in devotion, I am going to reciprocate because he is friend to me, I am friend to him. But basically, I am not partial. But somebody will come to me with love, I will also reciprocate for them with love. That is the glory of devotion. Now, if you are taken this path and you are doing some mistake, Krishna is saying, even when one commits the most abominable action, something wrong you did because of your past habits, not intentionally, because of your habit, before coming to bhakti, you had some bad habits, because of that you did something which is abominable considered in the society. But because you are engaged in devotional service, we should consider that person as saintly person. Because he is properly situated in devotional service. Now, people may think, oh, how come somebody did wrong? And why we tell that this person should be considered saintly? He's not saintly person because it's something abominable. Why Krishna is saying he's saintly? Because this is the next verse Krishna is telling, he will quickly become righteous. Don't worry, he will become good person very soon. Why? Why he will become good person? Because he is connected to me, I will purify him. He is doing devotion. Somebody is dirty. If he is sitting under a shower, we don't criticize him because very soon all his dirt will go away because he is under a shower. So coming under bhakti is like you are coming under a shower. You may have so much dirt in your heart, in your mind. But because you are continuously performing devotional service, one day Krishna will make sure you will become purified. It is like raw mango, it's not sweet. But if it is connected to the tree, what happens after 1 month? It becomes very sweet. But imagine you cut the mango and just throw it, it becomes spoiled. But as long as the mango is connected to the tree, the raw bitter mango becomes very sweet after 2 months. So as long as you are connected to Krishna in devotional service, even if you are having some dirty things in your heart, Krishna will make sure that you get purified and become a very nice person. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. And Krishna is telling here a very big statement. He's telling to Arjuna, Kaunteya prijanahi name bhakta pranashyati. Oh Arjuna, boldly proclaim to this world that my devotee will never perish. And Acharya says, why Krishna is not telling this directly? Instead, he's telling Arjuna, Arjuna, declare to this whole world that my devotee will never be destroyed, never perishes. Why Krishna is saying? Because Krishna will give some promise, sometimes he will violate also. Like Krishna said that I will not fight in the battlefield. But when Bhishma was fighting terrifically with Arjuna, he became very angry. He immediately lifted the chariot wheel to attack Bhishma because you are harming my devotee. So I don't care for my promise. But if you are harming my devotee, I will come into the picture. So that's why Krishna is telling, even if I give the promise, maybe I will violate for some reason. But if my devotee will give this promise, I will never violate it. So Kaunteya Pradijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati means Krishna is telling somebody will become my devotee. I guarantee, tell to the whole world, he will be protected always. He will become purified. This is glory of devotional service to Krishna. And the last verse, 34th verse, Krishna is giving the essence of Bhagavad-gita. Because as he said, this middle part, the last verse is giving the conclusion. The essence of Bhagavad-gita is saying, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mame Veshyasi Yuktavam Atmana Mat Parayanaha. So I'll just read that verse. 1 minute. Ninth chapter. Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mame Veshyasi Yuktavam Atmana Mat Parayanaha. What is that verse? Manmana. See, you know a little bit of Sanskrit, you can understand. Manmana means, what is Manmana? Your mind should be always thinking of me. This is bhakti. Your mind, hands to work and heart to God. Engage your mind always thinking of me. Mad Bhakto, become my devotee. Mad Bhakto, see, this is a very clear-cut statement. Mad Bhakto means, Krishna is speaking this word. Mad Bhakto. He already told who are devatas. Now he is telling Mad Bhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, try to worship me. And Mam Namaskuru, give your offering or obeisances to me. Namaskaram, Mam Namaskuru. By this, what will happen? Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Eveshi Yuktayam Atmana Matparayama. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer your obeisances to me and worship me. By being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. This is the last line is important. Surely you will come to me. That means if you want to go back to kingdom of God, which is our original home, where we are free from the cycle of birth and death and having an eternal spiritual blissful life, we have to take bhakti by which we can go back and we will not come back to this miserable material world. So this is what Krishna is giving the promise at the end of this 9th chapter, 34th verse. And this verse is the only verse which is coming in Bhagavad-gita for 2 times. Now, first time it has come in 9.34. Same verse will come again in 18th chapter. Krishna will tell the same verse, repeat that, Manmanavo Madbhakto. And Krishna is also telling this verse that no person, religion, no higher caste, lower caste, no man, there's only male people can come, female. Anybody, you are higher caste, lower caste, higher birth, lower birth. If you take up devotional service, you can attain the supreme destination. That's all that Krishna is saying in this verse 9.33, 32 and 33, that anybody irrespective of age, caste, religion, anything. If you take up devotional service, you can attain the highest perfection in Allah. So we discussed this 9th chapter, the acronym called King. Knowledge, Krishna is saying about the knowledge, very important. You should hear about God regularly. And if you want to know about this Rahasya knowledge, there should be two characteristics. You should be non-envious and should be faithful. Faithful. See, imagine Krishna is glorifying so much about bhakti about him. If you are envious, how we can hear all these glories? We cannot hear. So unless we are non-envious, we cannot be receptive to this all this knowledge of Bhagavad-gita. And Krishna is telling how he is related to this world. Maya dakshena prakriti suyetecha saracharam. By me, all this material nature is controlled or directed. And I am pervading everywhere as a Brahman. And at the same time, I'm not residing in certain things like that. He is giving inconceivable relationship. And there are also people, not everybody hearing this, they worship me. There are also non-worshippers, the atheist class. Their efforts and activities are all defeated, ends in failure. And whereas people who are worshipping me, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha, Devim Prakriti Mahashitaha, they come under my nature and they are protected always by my divine nature. And then Krishna is that is direct worship. Krishna also talks about indirect worship, where there are three kinds of Ekatvena, Pratakvena, Bahuda, Vishwatomukam. Ekatvena as monism, like thinking I am same like God, I can merge with God. Ekatvena, Pratakvena, I can worship any form of God as a supreme God. Any Devata, I think as a supreme Lord. Pratakvena, Bahuda Vishwatomukam means I worship God as, as a Vishwarupa. This is indirectly worshipping Krishna, not direct worship. Like directly worshiping Krishna, touching nose like this. Indirectly worshipping Krishna, you come bend you across your head, take your hand, then touch nose, which is very difficult and not the direct. And Krishna gives the glories of bhakti. Bhakti is very simple. Patram pushpam padam toyam. If you cannot go with that high kind of devotion, yet kurosi yajnasi yet juhosi dadasi yet tapasvasi kaunteya tat kurusva madharpanam. Try to do some, offer your food to me before eating and offer your tapasya to me. Like that, try to develop devotion to me. And Krishna says, even if you are a little bit doing wrong things, if you are connected to me, very soon you will become glorious, you will become purified. That is Krishna giving a guarantee that Kaunteya Prajanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Boldly declare to this entire world, Arjuna, my devotee will never perish. And Krishna is giving the last essence, Manmanabhav Mad Bhakta Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mahamesha Yuktevam Atmana Matparayana. That if you do all these four things, if you do in bhakti, you worship me, you think of me, you offer your, become a devotee, offer your pranams, and you become Madbhakto, Madhyaji, Mam, Namaskuru. If you do these four things, you will definitely come back to me, which is the original home, spiritual world, where Krishna is residing as a Bhagavan. But he is residing also in our heart as a Paramatma. But if you want to go back to that supreme destination, anybody can go without any bar, provided they can take this path of devotional service. And devotional service begins with chanting the holy name of the Lord in this Kali Yuga. By chanting regularly, our devotion gradually increases. That is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this chanting is very, very important. By sincerely practicing this chanting, slowly we can develop attachment and love and devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Any doubts you have, you can ask now. Before that, now Krishna will little more detail his affluences, how we can see God in this material creation. So, you are in this material world which God has created. How we can see his affluences. Through his affluences, we can see God everywhere, even this material creation. That is called the affluences of the Absolute. Bhagavad-gita chapter 10. That we will discuss coming Friday evening, same time, 6 p.m. local time, Indian time, 8:30 p.m. Same Zoom link. So welcome you all for that session. It is a very, very interesting session also. How in this material world we can try to see God through Krishna's affluences. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you have any questions or doubt, please feel free to ask me. Hare Krishna. So hope you are all able to follow this chapter 9, which is very, very important chapter. Do you have any doubts? Shankarnath Murari Prabhu. Clear?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, audible?
Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Audible.
Yes. Yeah, bro. This is really this very informative, and also this chapter no, is giving detailed analysis for this devotional service, and also more this confidence knowledge. Just we are doing bhakti, and also we just coming doing puja and doing this normal practices. So we go to this subject, this chapter is detailed analysis for this confidence knowledge, more confidence knowledge. This what is
Most confident.
distinction? Most confidence knowledge. This is a very
In
detailed analysis.
Sanskrit,
Yeah.
we say Guhya, Guhyatara, Guhyatama.
So
Yes.
this is the Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. This is the more knowledgeable and also detailed analysis. We got these ideas
Yes.
about this one. And also this Lord
Yes.
is giving a lot of examples, a lot of examples and insights. The main things
Yes.
we what is the
Direct worshippers and indirect
that
worshippers.
worshippers. And
Mm.
also these are the
And also
lot of
non-worshippers.
non-worshippers. And what are the Mahatmas? What are the personalities? That also
Yes.
detailed we
Mahatmas,
discussed today.
Mahampartha. Yes.
And also fourth
And a
tattva.
very important point is you should be non-envious, because see, Krishna is talking about his glories. It is natural that God is great. So when you speak now, if you have enviousness, we cannot appreciate this knowledge, right? We cannot understand or appreciate, because he created everything. We know this universe, galaxy, Milky Way, so it is infinite. And somebody who has created this infinite creation, how much glorious he should be. So, but if you are envious of him, we cannot understand this. That's why Krishna in the opening itself tell the qualification to understand this knowledge is you should be non-envious, two things, non-envious, and should be very faithful also.
Even though we have Shraddha, faith, and also people should not come. Why these other people are coming to worshiping Krishna? They are purely obvious, they are envious. And also they are not ready to accept. That is the main
Yes.
concept. Because
And
they want to
yeah,
enjoy
important.
all these the facilities, everything is the material creations. And they want life go by smooth, but we enjoying all these material creations, facilities. But they don't want to give the gratitude back. So this
Yes,
also the envious people's characteristics. And
yes,
also the main thing in this for the bhakti is simple. And also we can do anyone this by worshipping, meditating, and also doing this simple bhakti for the 9.26. Patram Pushpam Phalam Doyam Eme Bhakti. Just
yes,
by mood of love and meditating, simple with water, leaf, this thing also, we can offer a lot to satisfy him. Not even
yes,
Rajbhoga, these small things also we can do
yes.
for
Patram
our
Pushpam Palam Toyam. Yes,
mood of love, and we can satisfy that. This also
yes,
essence of the main today discussion. And about Niskama Karma, and also he explained detailing. And its main thing is become my devotee, essence of essence. So this
yes,
also today is the major theme of
yes,
the discussion. I
yes.
think a
And
lot of
one
points
more.
covered today.
Yes,
Lot
yes,
of
bro.
points covered, and also it is the main subject of the this Bhagavad-gita. So anyone wants to do detail, go to Bhakti, get it more touching Lord. So this chapter is very, very important to get more and more and understand the Lord, what He has and how to do Bhakti. So this is the essence of today class as I observed today.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you for sharing your wonderful understanding, realizations. Very important, because always purpose of this is to understand, take the knowledge. And one more last point I would like to highlight is actually uh, the glories of devotional. Krishna is saying, even if you are not, very pure in your heart, but if you come, I will purify you. So that is a big blessing for us, that we do not know how to purify ourselves, right? So if you want to get purified, we are connecting to this devotional service, we automatically become purified. We all experience, right? All these things, like when we are coming to before devotion, how we are there. After coming, taking devotional service, slowly, our divine qualities, we get purified of all our anarthas also. So that is also the glory of devotional service. And I think there is a question in the chat box. One question: when Sri Krishna is supreme, Sanjit, when Sri Krishna is supreme, yes, and all powerful, correct? Why does he need ministers, sub-deities? And this is creating confusion. Did Sri Krishna introduce his confusion on purpose? Yes, actually, we can say the devatas are meant for material purposes. Like why a company is having CEO and so many things, because in order to run the company, we need so many people. It is not that Krishna cannot manage without these devatas, but he is giving, like, if you want for some material things or something, you can always go to the devata, not disturb Krishna. Krishna Like if you always go for silly things to the CEO says, no, don't come to me for these things. There is your manager. Go to him, try to solve. Only major problem the CEO involved, right? So whatever some small petty things, Krishna does not want like somebody who is not serious in bhakti coming to him and disturbing for everything. No, I want promotion, I want increment, I want this, I want. He wants love. So people who do not want to express their love, Krishna is saying, okay, I am still giving you a chance. You go to them and ask whatever you want. That is first option, first point. The second thing, not everybody can accept Krishna as a Supreme Lord. So what Krishna is telling, at least accept some authority. First stage is, see, better than atheist, you accept there is some higher power. That higher power is called demigod. So instead of being atheist, Krishna is giving a next step, at least accept that there is some higher power. No need to come to me, but you know that there are some higher powers. So when you come and do worship to the puja and to the devata, gradually after doing, you cultivate some pious credits. Then over a period of time, you get the quality of submission to higher powers. Then you can get prepared to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Like it's a gradual elevation. So going through the devatas is an indirect process where you can be evolved gradually after many, many lifetimes. But if you are fortunate enough, we come directly to Krishna. So that there are two answers for this. One is Krishna does not want him, that whoever does not want love, does not want to develop their love, they can go to the demigods for some material benefits. And Krishna is telling that is temporary. But if at all you want serious, that we will have a reciprocation with you, then you come to me. So the loving exchange. Second thing is petty problems, go to them, material things you get, and you be happy in your life. But something you want serious, you want to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death, then you have to come to me. So there are two things, the material gain and spiritual gain. For spiritual gain, we go to Krishna. For material gains, we go to the Devata. And now if you are intelligent, even for material gain, you can go to Krishna, because Krishna will make sure that you will not get that material desire again. A very important point. Krishna makes sure that he will fulfill your material desire and make sure he will purify you so that you will not get that same material desire again. But when you go to the Devata, you ask something, you do puja, you get it. And after 2 months, you go to the same Devata, ask one more thing. You will not get purified. You keep on asking more. Now I want promotion, then I want increment, then I want change of job, then I want my family to be good, then I want this, then I want this. So there is no end to our list of material desires. It will never end till our death. So for that, whatever they are giving is, and Krishna also says third thing, whatever benediction that Devata is giving, that is because of my sanction. Unless Krishna will sanction, the demigods also are not having the power to fulfill your desire. So it is based on your karmic credit. So I hope that is clear. So who are serious, they go to Krishna. Who are not serious in spiritual life, they go to the Devata. Not everybody can come to Krishna. Krishna is telling in 7th chapter, Manushanam Sahasreshu, Kasji Detati Sitaye, Yatatam Api Siddhanam, Kaschin Mameti Tatvataha. Out of many thousands of people, Manushanam Sahasreshu. See, Sahasreshu means 1,000. Manushanam is human being. Manushanam Sahasreshu, Kasji Detati Sitaye. Out of that, who is interested in spiritual life is very, very rare, minority percentage. See how many people are attending this session. Even though there are like, how many people are in the group, even though they enrolled in their group, how many people are really want to know, understand Bhagavad-gita, to cultivate spiritual life, cultivate love and devotion. So, Manushanam Sahasreshu, who want spiritual things are very rare. Out of that, people who are coming to spiritual life itself, there are so many organizations, spiritual organizations. How many of them come to Krishna? That is third line is telling, Manushanam Sahasreshu, Kaschi Detati Sittaye, Yatatam Api Siddhanam, Kaschin Mameti Tatvata. Out of the people who are serious in spiritual life, hardly few people succeed in spiritual life. It is like running in the running race. 15 people run, but only one person comes out, first, second, third position. See, first is thousands of people are there in this material world. Out of 1,000 people, few people only interested in spiritual life. Out of few people, only few people in that become perfect in spiritual life. Out of those perfect people, only few can understand me in truth. Kaschin Mameti Tattva. So understanding Krishna is not an easy business. So then, what about so many people, majority of people, where they will go, where they will pray? They will go to the demigod. Maybe slowly by praying demigod, by accepting a higher power, and slowly getting dejected with all this enjoyment propensity, then slowly they will come to Krishna after many, many lifetimes. That also Krishna is saying, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, after many, many lifetimes, Jnanavan mam prapadyate. Who is having wisdom? Jnani. Jnanavan mam prapadyate. They come to me. Jnanavan prapadyate means they come and surrender. Then third line says, then when they surrender, they will tell Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Everything is Krishna. Vasudevam Sarvamiti. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. That kind of Mahatma in this world is Sudurlabhaha, means very, very rare to find. Durlabhaha means difficult. Sudurlabhaha means very rare. So this is, you can say, it's a kind of blessing we have received to get this knowledge. It is not easy. How many people are going to temple? How many people are going? How many people understand who is the Supreme Lord? How to perform devotional service? How to understand this knowledge of Bhagavad-gita? Who am I? What is my relationship with God? Where I am going after death? All these people do not know. They just go to a demigod, do some puja for getting some material gain, whether it may be health issue or promotion issue or increment or good family, good marriage, peaceful life, something. We do not know all these things. This all knowledge we get from Bhagavad-gita. So Krishna is telling, if you go to a Devata, you will get only material benefits. They cannot liberate you from the clutches of birth and death, but still he is giving an option that who cannot come to me, they can go to the Devata. I think it's clear. If it is not clear, you can please feel free to answer. So it's a process comes after. Even if we are saying that we have come to Bhagavad Gita, it is not from this lifetime, but many lifetimes, previous life also, we did some bhakti. That's why Krishna is giving access to this knowledge. We should be very clear. It is not an accidental thing that you enroll in Bhagavad Gita class and you are hearing all this. No, it is mercy of the Lord. Because you did something to the Lord in the previous life, He is giving further more instructions and guidance through Bhagavad Gita. So that's one you have to understand. Okay, I think it's clear. Hare Krishna. So we will further discuss more knowledge. Another question is also there. Sri Krishna is taking care of other universes as mentioned in this chapter. It's very true. What does Bhagavata say about life on other universes? Very good question. There are so many universes. As we said, that Krishna expands into 3 Vishnus. Vishnus to 3 Rupani. So this Brahmanda is like an egg shape. Brahmanda, that's why it's Anda means egg. Brahma means this Brahman, this universe is in the form of an egg. It is coming from the breathing of Mahavishnu. When Mahavishnu, which is an expansion of Krishna, he will exhale from the force of his body, millions of universes are emanating. When these universes, Mahavishnu is lying on an ocean called Karana Ocean or Karana Jal. So in that ocean, he is lying and breathing, exhaling, all the creation starts manifesting. So every Brahmanda, there are 14 planetary systems. Within each Anda or Brahmanda, there is 14 planetary systems. How this coming 14 planetary system? This Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he is actually, Karanadaksha Vishnu is the first from the breathing, universes are coming out. Within every universe, one Vishnu will enter inside. That is called as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Inside that Brahmanda, he is again lying in the sleeping position. And from his navel only Brahma is coming. You might have seen picture where from the navel of Vishnu, one lotus is coming and the lotus top Brahma is sitting. So that is second Vishnu. That is called as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Then Vishnu, Brahma is given power by Vishnu to create this world. Then Brahma is creating this 14 planetary system within the stem of the lotus. 14 planetary system, we are in the 7th planetary system called Burloka. Above us there is Brahma Loka, Satya Loka, Jana Loka, Mahar Loka, Tapa Loka, like that. Bur, Bua, Swa, Atala, Vitala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. Then there are bottom planets, Patala. Okay. Within these 14 planetary systems are within the stem of this lotus. And Brahma is a secondary creator. When he creates everything, there is no life. The Jivatma came, the body came, everything Brahma did. When the body starts animating is, the second Vishnu will turn into, expand himself to the third Vishnu called as Shirodaksha Vishnu or called as Paramatma. When he will enter the Jivatma along with our, then the life starts in this material universe. Now, go back to the first Vishnu, Karanadaksha Vishnu, who is breathing out. When he will breathe again inside, inhale, there is Pralaya. That Pralaya takes place at Brahma's end of one day, there is partial Pralaya. At the end of Brahma's 100 years, there is full Pralaya. So there are different kind of Pralaya also. And Brahma's lifespan also is there. Brahma's one day, 12 hours is 4.32 billion years. Brahma's one day, 12 hours. Brahma's end of Brahma's day, 4.32 billion years, there is Pralaya. And Brahma's one night is again 4.32 billion years. So one day of Brahma is 8.64 billion years. In Bhagavad-gita, 8th chapter, this description is there. And Brahma lives for 100 years. So multiply this 8.64 million years into 365 days into 100. It is actually 311 trillion years. 311 trillion years is Mahavishnu's one breath. One inhalation and exhalation is 311 trillion years. So it may be looking amazing for us. But we can see there are some insects which are born at the night. They at the end of the daytime, you can see they all died. They are on the road. So these are relative concepts. So Brahma's lifetime is great compared to us. We are like insects for 100 years. Brahma's lifetime is 311 trillion years. Compared to Brahma's 311 trillion years, Mahavishnu's one breath is 311 trillion years. Then imagine about Krishna. Only Vishnu is an expansion. So it is relative concepts like what our life, our insect life, ant life. Ant life is very small. Tortoise life is 350 years. Banyan tree life is 500 years. So this in this material world, all this time duration is relative. So Brahma's life is very high compared to us. But for Mahavishnu, Brahma's life is like an insect life. 311 trillion years is for him insect because it is only for his one breathing Brahma will come and go. So like that, there are innumerable universes. Krishna, as he came here in Vrindavan, he also goes to the other universes to perform pastimes. To give this Bhagavad-gita knowledge. But here in this universe, in this earth, you can easily cultivate our spiritual life because here the situation, circumstances is favorable. In the Swargaloka, the happiness is very high. So spiritual life is not given much importance. In the Patala Loka, suffering is more. So because there is suffering more, we cannot cultivate spiritual life. So, but in the earth, it is a right proportion of suffering and enjoyment. So here you can understand, and this is called as Karma Bhumi, by where we can cultivate this bhakti easily and we can go back to God. And especially in this Kali Yuga by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Is it okay? You are able to understand on this? These are all very deep knowledge. It does not just we explain 5 minutes. We cannot understand. There are separate classes for this, how this material world, this 14 planet system, full details are there. Each planets who are living, where the devatas are living, it is in Swargaloka. So like that, there are detailed sessions, but Bhagavad-gita is called as a preliminary study. Bhagavad-gita is only a basic study of our Sanatana Dharma. Basic study. It is not a detailed study. Detailed study is in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is having 18,000 verses. More knowledge about, because this is like a crash course. Krishna given this course to Arjuna just in a battlefield in 45 minutes. So this is like a fast track course. Then Bhagavatam is there more detailed. It is 18,000 verses. You read one verse a day. It takes 40 years for you to complete Srimad Bhagavatam. There are so much knowledge about on scriptures, about creation, about how this light came, fire came, all these elements. 24 material elements is created before creation of this material universe. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Then there is the Jnana Indriyas 5, Karma Indriyas 5, 5, 5, 5, 20. And then there is time factor. So many things are there. These 24 material ingredients form this material universe. And within these 24 material ingredients, the Atma is inside that. So this Atma has to get liberated and go back to its original place where it came from. That is spiritual world. That is called our home, our spiritual home, where we originally departed to this material universe just to enjoy independent of God. Okay. I think it's clear on that subject. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you all for your nice questions and your feedback also. So please make sure you attend your next session also, chapter 10, the affluences of absolute, which is very, very interesting and more related to this material world. Same time, Friday, 6 p.m. Hare Krishna. So thank you all. Have a wonderful and safe week again. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyacha pavane Vaishnavi namo namaha ananta kodi Vaishnav ki jai. Nirantara Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.